What's up, y'all? I'm gonna be real. I didn't think I'd be making this video. My mom told me to make this video one day. This is probably gonna be a multi-part thing. In January of 12th of this year, 2025, I lost my brother. Mistaken identity, some guy shot and killed him. And it's crazy, like, how okay I am. Right now, I really thought, like, there's been plenty of times where I thought I'd make this video when I'm angry. But right now, I'm kind of chill and mellow. But basically, I never wanted to talk about this because I didn't remember, like, my last video. I think it was like 2 years ago, or maybe a year. Yeah, I think it was like 2 years ago. I made a video about my best friend. My best friend was killed January 29th of 2021. It might have been the 28th, but I believe it was the 29th. We don't live in the same area. He lives in Florida, but he was killed. And he knew those guys, and he ended up becoming first 48 case, which is crazy because we've had like plenty of conversations like that between him and my cousin, which all three of us, we were a trio. Fortnite, Rocket League, we was there. Call of Duty, we was always there together. But he died 3 years ago. I made a video talking about grief. When he died, it literally felt like I lost Uriel, my brother. And that was probably the hardest thing I've ever went through. And I've been through a lot of stuff in life. I've been through a lot of stuff. I would like to say that before God came into my life, I was very strong, physically, mentally. But emotionally, I was not. Everything I did was out of emotion. It was out of anger, sorrow, and sadness, especially dealing with depression for a long time. Undiagnosed, obviously, a lot of people are stuff, but like I know what depression looks like, and that's what I had. That's what if I went to the doctor, they would put me on medicine straight up. Talking about that was the hardest thing I ever had to do. And I've lost some family members that I truly loved, and they didn't hit the same as when he died. It didn't, because he was like, I was closer to him than Uriel. Around the time me and him were really good friends, because I moved away after high school. Uriel was still with my parents, and then he ended up moving down to our home. I moved back to my hometown, and then he ended up following me. Very similar reasons. We're not gonna get into all that. This is not the video. But yeah, we all had a good time, together, playing a game, listening to music, watching movies, talking about anime, things of that nature. And then it happened. My wife was there for me. We were actually going to church. We had a guest speaker for revival, Pastor Frankie Chi. I'm not sure which fellowship church he's from. I don't know if he's from Arizona. I think he's from Arizona. I just can't remember the exact mother church that he's from. But it was the first time I ever met him. First time I ever met Pastor Frankie Chi. And we're heading there for evening service because he wasn't there in the morning. He was there at night. Actually, I think he was there in the morning. We had a good sermon, and then we were heading there. And that night, we're halfway there, and then my cousin Kobe, which is that's my cousin, is Zay's best friend. He calls me, and he tells me, "You doing something, bruh?" I'm like, "No. I'm actually in the car right now, Mimi driving." He was like, okay. He was like, you sitting down, right? I was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, she's driving right now. I'm chilling. He was like, Zay died. And it destroyed my world. Straight up. Destroyed my world. When he told me, I remember stuttering. I remember saying, bruh, like it was over with for me being able to speak correctly. And then I just started wailing. My wife didn't know what was going on. We got to church, and pretty much I cried. She went and got my pastor and his wife, who are like my second parents. And I told them, and they was like, I'm so sorry. Because they knew him. Like, you know, I talked about him a lot, talked about how open he was to having a relationship with Christ, about, you know, why it was so hard for him to believe in God, because, you know, we had similar upbringings. But thank God I was able to do a sinner's prayer with him 2 weeks before, because it's crazy. My wife was actually talking to me about this a year later after he passed, and was like, babe, imagine if you and Zay, when y'all were arguing, he died. She said, if you got somebody in your life right now that you love, you need to make up with them right now. And I called Yuri, and we talked and stuff. It wasn't necessarily that we were mad at each other, or we didn't, it wasn't like to the point where we really needed to make up, but it was like some happened, something was said, and, you know, me and him got into a little argument. But yeah, Zay, he gave his life to Christ, and then 2 weeks later he died. So yeah, that was that. 3 years later, my brother dies. Same exact way. He doesn't know the guy. The guy doesn't know him. He thinks he's somebody else. And he drives up and he shoots at my brother's car. And according to the police, he died immediately. I don't believe that, because my cousin Dante told me when he was on FaceTime, he heard him taking his last breaths. And I don't think anybody should go through that. I don't think anybody should go through something like that. I'm going to be completely honest about everything that's in this video today. Who knows, if I'm in a decent mood, I may just make the full video now. But basically, me and my brother were very close growing up, very close. Like, I'm his son, he's my son. Like, that type of, like, close. Like, we helped my mom with raise my sister, because my mom had to handle business as a single mother. She had to handle business, straight up. When Uriel died, all the anger that I had at anybody, no matter how small it was intensified to a high degree. Only thing that's keeping me alive and well are my wife and my daughter, straight up. I'm not gonna lie. I'm the type of person that you can tell me something, no matter how right it is. If something bad enough happens to me, I'm not gonna care. When I was 19, I was going through a lot of stuff, emotionally and mentally. I was living with my grandparents. And I was like, I'm not doing well. I couldn't keep a job for more than 3 to 4 months. My lifestyle would change every 3 to 6 months. So between having a job, not having a job, if I was sneaking alcohol, underage drinking, things of that nature, popping pills, that's what I was doing, because I was trying to fill a void that was never going to be filled by anything on this earth. It was thanks to Jesus Christ coming into my life that I was able to get to where I am today. So when I was 19, I gave my life to Christ. Before I was 19, when I was 18, I had a lot of stuff going on. I got sent back home to my parents' house because my grandparents was going through whatever, and I thought it was my fault. because my granddaddy would always yell at me and say, you need to get a job. You know, the normal rhetoric, basically. And pretty much, I just thought that it was like they were fighting because of me. And that's not the case. I was internalizing a lot of stuff that's been happening with them for over 40 years. And I was going to kill myself. I attempted once when I was back home. I attempted to overdose on pills. I took like 13 Benadryls. And people know there was a challenge with Benadryl. There was a challenge with ibuprofen. I'm surprised I didn't have to get my stomach pumped. And God definitely moved in that, because Benadryl is, you can kill a dog with 2 Benadryl. Yes, dogs have weaker immune systems than us and things of that nature. But I took 13. That's an entire case. That is enough to kill you. And that happened because I was sad. I was angry. I wanted to go buy a car after my parents were on my head and pocket watching me. No, nothing against y'all or nothing now. I've forgiven them for the stuff that's happened in my childhood for the most part. I was like, I'm being told to do these things. I'm trying my best. It's not enough. This is exactly how I felt with my grandparents. So that was the Benadryl. Then a year later, somewhere around before I turned 19, so I'd say leading up to 19. So February to March, right before I turned 19. I want to say that's 2016. I graduated in 2014. I want to say it's 2015 because I turned 18 after high school. So something else was going on. Anyways, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm trying my best. It's not enough. So I grabbed the biggest knife that we had in our kitchen. And I was like, I'm going to kill myself. I was like, Lord, if you still love me, because I started believing God at 16 or 15. And I told him, I was like, if you still love me, you're going to show me that you're real again. Like, if you don't show me that you're real, I was like, I'm going to kill myself, and there is nothing you can do to stop me. There's absolutely nothing you can do. If you don't show me something, I'm dead. And I told him, I'll give you to the end of the week. And I don't even know why I even just thought to myself to like pray. I was like, man, I need to pray. What do you like? It's like, part of me is like, dang, did I really want to die? Or was I like in the lowest place I could possibly be? And pretty much I didn't see nothing. And luckily it was like a revival or healing crusade, one of the two. And then we show a video we do in our fellowship every year. It's the end of year video. We see it in January, anywhere between January and March. But my pastor was like, I'm not preaching tonight because I'm listening to these sermons. I'm not feeling anything. Like, I'm not feeling God like tug on me. I'm not hearing him call like my name. I'm not like being convicted of anything at this point. And pretty much he's like, we're gonna watch a video today. And I said, Lord, I'm killing myself after service. I said, I gave you your chance. And pretty much I saw a video. A lot of people were giving their lives to Christ. A lot of people were getting healing. I'm talking about backs being healed, shoulders being healed, like legs being grew out, like healed completely. I'm seeing this on video. And I'm like all inspired, because you read the Bible, you see a lot of scriptures about healings, people being brought back to life. And it's like, Lord, you've done this in the Bible. I'm seeing you do this for other people. Can you heal me? I don't know what's wrong with me, but I need you to heal me. Well, ended up talking to my pastor. And he's like, do you really believe what you say? And I was like, yes. He was like, if you believe me, he said, when we're done, you have to call your dad. You have to forgive him. He said, can you do that? I said, if God can heal me, and if he'll heal me, I'll absolutely call him as soon as this is over with. My left leg was 2.5 inches shorter than my right leg. My back was twisted in certain areas. And he was like, that's what happens when you're bitter. And this is going to come back to my brother, y'all. I'm not just making this about myself. I'm not just giving my testimony, even though I should, because I love the Lord. So we're praying, like the whole church is praying. This is when my parents were still in church. My brother and sister, my other younger brother, we're all in church at this point. And we're like, I'm feeling a coldness on my knee. And I'm feeling my leg being pushed out. Like, it feels like somebody was like, just like kind of like moving a rope in place. And my pastor was like, I'm not pulling you. He was like, but you're pushing against me. And my leg was healed, like completely healed, like 2.5 inches, like this to this. It was awesome. I literally told everybody. I told my ex-girlfriend, who didn't want nothing to do with me. I told my best friend at the time, and nothing, like, they didn't believe me. They was like, I'm not. That's how bad of a person I was, y'all. And pretty much, I waited. I called my dad and forgave him. We had a conversation and things of that nature. You know, it took a while for our relationship to get to where it is, but it is that. But I ended up moving back home with my grandparents, and Uriel ends up moving. He's in a rough spot, same place I was when I left, and we bonded like crazy because we went through the exact same thing at our home. The exact same thing. I'm talking about verbatim. Some things were exact. Pretty much, I told Yuri, I was like, yeah, bruh, like, before I started believing in God, you was there. Like, you saw me where I was going through. And then when I left, like, I just went back to what it was. And he was like, yeah, he was like, it was hard to see that because I'm still in church, even though we got all this bull crap going on at home. And I was like, I never thought I would tell you this. I was like, bro, I was going to kill myself twice. Like, I tried and I was going to kill myself another separate time. And he was like, this stuck with me, y'all. Stuck with me for from 19 to like this year. He was like, you were just going to leave me, bro? And I'm getting chills now just thinking about that, because it was crazy, because it was like, we've been through so much stuff together. And I was going to end it all and not care about nobody. Not my baby brothers, Levi and Isaiah, not Uriel, not Kendall, my sister, not my older sister Tisa, none of my other siblings, bro. Like, none, I didn't care about none of them. And that was the one thing that I feel really should have kept me around. But it wasn't enough for me at the time. And I just told him, I was like, I had to be real, bro. Like, I was almost out of there. And I was just like, I was depressed. I was like, I was going through so much stuff with our grandparents. I was still having a lot of issues with our dad. And I was like, bro, I just couldn't do it no more. Like, it felt like anytime I tried to do something with my life, something bad would happen, and it wouldn't matter. So it was like I was 13 again when I used to tell my mom all the time, nothing matters, nothing's ever gonna last. And I said that to myself from like 6 to like 15. And I was depressed even when I started believing in God at 16, 17. And I was like, Lord, you help me out in all these other areas, but this depression stuff, you're not helping me with. Like, my anxiety and stuff, you're not helping me with. And that's when that happened. Like, you know, I was like, what the heck? But God actually ended up moving on me and helping me get out of that funk for a little bit, because I put myself back into it. Then COVID hit. We're going to fast forward, 4 years? COVID hit. From 2016 to COVID, me and Uriel relationship was kind of like this. Like, we would man, we would argue. We had such differing lifestyles. Like, I didn't notice how much difference it would be, because he like come like that's when like my parents and them stopped coming to church. They denounced God at this point. Well, they denounced Jesus. And then, you know, my siblings, they don't go to church anymore. They're young. Like, Uriel was like still a kid. Like, he was still a kid. And then I remember having a conversation with him one time, and he just was like, it's hard for me to believe what's true or understand what's true, because I'm going to church, I'm hearing one thing, and then I'm going home and I'm hearing a different thing. So it's hard for me to believe in anything outside of what I know. Uriel did end up turning to astrology. He did get into being an Aquarius. That was his whole big thing, and he used to tell me like we all used to be big in that, because like my dad's really big into it. I don't know if he still is, but like he's like, my daddy and he's very intelligent. He's a very smart guy. He's very knowledgeable about things that he really does like, and that kind of imparted into us, because you know, I was born in the year of the rat and things of that nature. Like my daughter, she was born in the year of the dragon, so I call her my little dragon. Like, that's just a title. It's not, I'm not necessarily putting that on her. But when I used to be like, oh, I'm a Gemini, so a Gemini, so I would internalize all of things that came with that. And your age be like, you sensitive just like a Gemini, bro. Like, y'all some crybabies, bro. But y'all can talk about any, like, it was just, that's just, you know, what he understood. And we got into a really big fight. Like, the last time we ever punched on each other, I want to say I might have been 19 or 20. And I remember we got into it. We punched up on each other. And then he got in more trouble than me, because, man, it was some rules my dad set. My dad wasn't really around like that for real, but he had certain rules that was set for us so nobody could disrespect us. We didn't care that day. But the memories of that didn't really stick around, because we laughed about it the next day, even though we were very angry at each other. And I did egg him on, because I kind of got tired of just being like kind of goofy. Like, I always used to beat Uriel up. I used to beat Dante up, until the point where they started, you know, knowing how to fight and stuff. It wasn't just one side. Like, they used to be rocking me sometimes. But I would like, a lot of the times I would take out my anger on them the same way that I would take it out on strangers. And I think that time, I don't know, man. I think I just was like, man, I always let you get away with hitting on me, like, and stuff. Like, if I'm messing with you and I never do nothing, I was like, I'm not doing it this time. I don't know why I thought that. That was horrible thinking. That was some bad, being a bad big brother, bro, straight up. Like, I would just hit, like, just be lashing out. I would just lash out. But at this time, you know, I started to chill. That's why it was out of character for me to, like, get into a fight. I hadn't fist fought nobody since I was 14, 15, because I was like, it doesn't change anything. I don't know, man. It was like some Vinland Saga junk. If y'all seen that anime, my cousin always tells me, he's like, you remind me of Thorfinn, because I was so angry as a kid. Uriel was so angry as a kid. Like, we were very much the same in that. And then as we got older, yeah, we can talk the talk, but we would rather it not go that far, because it would go against who we are as adults. So for years, from COVID till now, Uriel and Dante would do something good. I would be so proud of them. And then they would, like, do something dumb. I'm not gonna get into it, but it would make me so mad, because I'm just like, why can't y'all not make these mistakes, right? And I don't know, man. I still would make mistakes, but it wouldn't be out of character mistakes. Like, for me at least. Like, I never drank again. I've never drank again after I turned 19. Never again. Never took drugs if they were not prescribed. And that was very rare, because I don't like the doctor and I don't trust them to give me something that's going to help me without side effects. But yeah, a lot of the times I was more proud of Uriel than I was angry at him. And my mom used to always tell me this about like my younger brother Levi. He's 13 now. She used to be like, you don't have to discipline them because I'm disciplining him. She was like, you still need to be their brother. And that was me. That was a hard thing for me because I'm the oldest. I'm the oldest of my mom's. Thanks, baby. I'm the oldest of my mom's children. And when I felt like they were like it was right for me to do it, it wasn't right for me to do it. Because it's not my place. I'm not their parent. So though I would be disappointed in Uriel, I wasn't mad at him. Sometimes I was. I will say sometimes Uriel did make me angry because I'm like, you're too smart to be doing this. And a lot of my stress after high school with him and with Dante and now with my younger sister Kendall is I don't want people to make the mistakes that I made because it took me a long time to get to where I am now. It's normal, but it took me a long time from not being able to keep a job to having the same job for 8 years. It took a long time for me to be able to save enough money to when I move out, I'm not broke in the first month. It took a long time for me to get courage to buy a brand new car after buying cars for $1,000, $1,200, and $500. The car that I have right now, we spent $20-something thousand on it, and we're at $11,000, and I'm ready to trade this mug in. And I would have never gotten to this point if my pastor didn't show me how to rely on God. He didn't show me how to budget without discrimination. You gotta be on it. That's it. And I didn't want Uriel, I didn't want Dante, and I daggum sure don't want Kendall to go through this. Because as a woman, it's different. Because yes, a woman, you can get money quickly without having to do anything weird. But as a man, you gotta take risks. And them risks can be detrimental. No. It can be detrimental to you as a person. I got to the point, bro, where I'm like, I'm finna start stealing again. That was me back in the day. I used to steal all the time because I used to be so, I want this now. I don't want to wait on it. I used to just steal stuff. And I didn't want that for them. So I would get so angry when they would do things or make decisions that would get them to the point where they would need to do anything of that nature. And I love them so much, bruh. Because if I'm being real, I really do love, like even now, and I know it's wrong, I love like people more than I love myself. I have always been the person that did not have a problem sacrificing themselves so somebody else could do something with their life. I used to, man, like this ain't like me and Uriel, we are squared away. And even if we weren't squared away, I'm not that type of loser that goes to a funeral and says, oh, Uriel owed me money. Like, dude, I would give Uriel money. I would buy him things because I wanted him to have it. Like, I was just throwing money at Uriel. I was throwing money at Dante. Throwing money at Kendall because that's what I knew growing up. My grandmother used to do it. She told me out of her mouth, the reason why we used to give y'all everything, we would get y'all whatever y'all want for Christmas, even when we didn't have it, is because I wanted y'all to know that I loved y'all. And I got that bug so bad. And it's crazy because my wife is not materialistic. She's not materialistic at all. She's not. That woman, her daddy gave her everything she ever wanted, and she got to the point where nothing mattered. I wish that would have happened with me. I would have spent almost $30-some thousand less on video games if that was me. On books. just things, bro. Like, I was very materialistic for a long time. Now it's got to be specific stuff. I love books. I still love video games. I don't buy a lot of video games full price. I don't buy a lot of clothes for myself because, like I said before, part of me doesn't really care about myself. All my love and care has always went into other people. Always. That's why I used to get so angry when people would let me down. You know, like, that's why I really think that I needed somebody like Uriel as a brother, because I remember I was like, bro, I did this, blah, blah, blah for you. I was like, you ain't gonna whatever, whatever. He was like, I didn't ask you to do that. And I'm like, why am I even saying this to him? He doesn't even have a job. He is not established. But I'm like, you don't never do nothing for me, blah, blah, blah. I'm the big brother. What kind of loser crap is that? I feel like I was definitely a horrible brother at times. And I know Uriel will probably be mad at me for saying that, but that's just how I feel, man. Like, he'd be like, you've never let me down. He's like, you might have got on my nerves, but you've never let me down. I needed to hear that. Because Uriel's opinion, I'm going to tell you, it matters more than a lot of people in my family. And if we look at our family with the loss of my brother being killed by somebody who didn't even know him and lied, for that matter, and said he was following me, but the video showed that you chased him down. You were behind him driving, and you just shot the first person you saw. We're going to get into those emotions as well. But Uriel, like, his opinion matters as much as my wife's opinion. Definitely. And that's real. That's real. Like not even my parents matter. His opinions matter as much as like Uriel. And that's just personal stuff. When I told Uriel that me and my wife were pregnant first time back in 2023. Yeah, 2023. Was it 2023? I feel like it was 22, bruh. It had to have been 22. I'll have to ask my wife. But I think it was 20. I don't know, though. I feel like it was 23. It might have been 23. And then we got pregnant with our daughter. And then, so the first, like when I told him that we was pregnant the first time, him and my sister, ecstatic. I'm fine. I knew Car was going to be the first to have a kid. And then a week later, we lost the baby. Oh, this was a chemical pregnancy. It was never going to stick. After me and my wife been trying since we got married in 2020. I'm talking about for years. I'm telling my wife, I don't know if I work. I had an injury when I was in elementary school. Like, I don't know. Y'all know the wood and climbing thing? Y'all fell and hit my nuts, brother. I thought I was done for. And he was sad. He was sad. My wife and Uriel had a great relationship too. That's one thing that, like, I'm telling you, if Uriel didn't have a good relationship with my wife, we was not making it out of the talking stage. Absolutely. I don't care how good of a woman my wife was. She would have not made it out. But he kept telling me. I joked one time and was like, something, me and my B word. And he's like, don't call your queen a B word. And I was saying that to impress him. Because, like, it was just, we grew up. Like, that's just how we grew up, right? Seeing that with our friends, our cousins. My B word this, my B word that. And I would never call women that after I turned 19. But some just wanted me to try to appeal to my brother. And he was like, we not on that. We don't do that. And that, like, kind of sealed the deal. It was like, yeah, he likes her. Uriel ain't never liked the girl I ever brought around. Ever. And I was Mr. Captain Save-A-Ho. He did not care. He did not care. You were not in love with that girl, bruh. Stop saying that. You always saying that. He hated it. I only said that, what, twice? That man was like, no. We do not love these hoes. That I was like, wow. I'm never going to get a girlfriend. I went without a girlfriend for 6 years, bruh. And he was like, you need a girlfriend, bruh. I was like, I'm just chilling. They was like, yeah, you've been chilling for 6 years. You know. And I'm so happy I'm not crying. I don't think I'm going to cry, bro. I don't think I'm going to cry. Like, I'm so happy I'm crying. I love my brother, man. I miss him to death. Because, man, when my daughter was born, he was crying. Uriel was not a cry. He don't be crying for real, y'all. I was the crier. That's gone now. It was like, I let her hold her. He was like, bruh, I love this baby. Give me my daughter back. I'm going to miss him forever. The same way I miss Zay. The exact same way I miss Zay. I'm going to miss Uriel the exact same way. But let me tell you a difference. When Zay died, I told Mimi, I don't know if Uriel died, I don't know how sad I would be because I'm so sad right now. Y'all, when my sister called me and told me at 2 o'clock in the morning that my brother was dead, I didn't cry until I got to Nashville, and that's 50 minutes away. I'm telling her, I'm like, what? Because my wife was like, Kendall called you twice. She was like, my sister never calls me twice if it's not an emergency. She called me. I called her back. I was like, what's up? She said, Kari. She was like, Uriel's gone. And I'm like, where'd he go? No, she said Uriel got shot. I'm like, what? I'm like, is he okay? She said, he's gone. And I said, send me the address. I'm on my way. She said, check his location. I drove straight there. And I'm driving on my way there. And the first thing I prayed, I said, Lord, I left my gun at home. I said, Lord, if this is not a dream and my brother is actually dead, you need to give me the ultimate peace. Because if you do not, I'm going to shoot that city up. I'm going to go home and I'm going to get my gun and I'm going to go see everybody that he last saw and get answers. And I was like, Lord, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Because it's going to ruin my testimony. It's going to absolutely ruin my testimony. 1 second. And y'all, like I said before, I've been a Christian for 10 years now. I was so close to throwing everything away. Hearing that is the worst news. That's like when like what my mom went through. Hearing that her son is dead had me like, somebody else is gonna lose a kid then. Because my mom did not deserve this. My dad did not deserve this. My stepdad did not deserve this. At all. So, I'm driving up there. I don't have any emotions anymore. I'm just like, I really hope he's not dead. Because if he's dead, that's going to ruin me. I get up there. It's blocked off. Cop pulls. He kind of gets out of his car. He comes to me. And that's when I break. He was like, what's going on? I'm like, that's my brother up there. And he was like, I'm sorry. And I was like, I need you to be real with me. I said, don't bullcrap me. Is my brother gone? And he said, yes. And that night after that wasn't even a blur. I remember everything vividly. Another truck came up. They was like, what's going on up there? I was like, my brother got shot. And I'm stuttering, crying. I wouldn't even say I'm crying. I'd say I was weeping. It wasn't uncontrollable. It was just like that. And the guy said, you need to start praying right now. He said, because he could be okay. So I said, I was like, I know. So I'm praying. I'm like, Lord, I know he's dead. I know my brother is gone. My stepdad pulls up in his truck with my mom, my youngest brother, and my little sister. And my younger brother didn't know. I told him, oh, the police told us, and I was like, shoot, they say you're, and then I just stopped talking. I opened the door, I hugged my stepdad, hugged my sister, and I opened the door to my mom, and she was just like in the car like this. Y'all need to understand. People lose dogs and they cry. People lose their animals and they cry and they're very sad. You lose a grandparent and you're very sad. But losing your kid, when we lost our first kid, I was sad for like 2 weeks because there's nothing we can do about it. That was what was going through my head. I went back to work with no issue. I was still making YouTube videos, playing the game, just chilling. And then I didn't even think about my wife. I didn't even think about it. I'm like, it's been 2 months. She should be fine now. No. And I'll say that's one thing about men. Men can be callous because society makes us that way. Our environments make us that way. It doesn't matter your race, your creed, your religion, because we have to continue to go to provide. So it makes us stop caring about bad things that happen to us. Because if you sit in that, you lose money. You lose time. We're only getting older. But a woman losing her child, somebody that shares the exact same DNA. She's carrying a baby for 10 months. Losing a part of them is something I don't want my mom to lose any more children. She's not gonna make it. She only lost one. She lost her second born. My mom is not going to survive this happening again. My mom is very strong, y'all. She is not somebody that just cries. She's not somebody, and this isn't like say like my mom is stoic or anything. My mom is goofy. My mom is hilarious. She's always laughing. She's always there for family. She never cracks under pressure. But I saw what this did to my mom. I saw it. You know how in hood movies when the son dies and the mom falls out? My mom did that. My mom has never done anything like that before. Never. So seeing the strongest woman that I know in her weakest moment, oh, somebody was they definitely needed to die. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. You hurt my mom this way. I have to. God, if you don't save me right now, I'm going to kill somebody tonight. I'm going to kill somebody for the rest of this week if you don't save me right now from myself. Because that anger that kept me alive, that kept me growing, was gone from me. God completely took that anger away. I lost my entire identity the day that my anger completely left me 2.5 years ago. So when those emotions came back, it was like, oh yeah, I'm killing somebody and then I'm going to die right after them. Why am I thinking like that? The devil was trying to get to me. That trend is on TikTok. The devil couldn't get to me, so he killed my brother. That hit home because he couldn't get to me. I've spit in the devil's face so many times since I've been saved, bruh. I fall into some of his tricks and stuff before. But every time my faith got stronger. I told Zay before he died, do you know what's crazy? If me and you stop being friends or if you died or something, I know my relationship with God will get so much stronger. Because I care more about what's going on in your life than what's going on in mine. He said, you know what's crazy? I know. And he said, bro, if I'm being real, if it got to that point, I would just stop talking to you for a year if I feel like you're going to a place where you need to be without me distracting you. And then he died like a month later. Like, that junk is crazy as heck to me. I'm never going to be like, bro, he died. Like, what a lose. Like, that's not funny to me. You know what I'm saying? So when I lost my brother, I'm talking about every emotion within my life. My daughter is 7 months at this time. She's sleeping. My wife is, it was just a crazy, surreal moment. I remember everything. I'm going to remember everything about what happened. And forever. This is my life now. And genuinely, y'all, if God didn't keep me, I think I cried a week after he died. But it was like quick 5-second tears. Almost breaking down. And I would just tell myself, it's not time. Because again, y'all, I always care about others before I care for myself. Always. I always care about others before I care about myself. I called my pastor. I called my cousins. I called my aunties. I'm telling them Uriel is dead. I did the same thing when Zay died. Kobe called me. He told me. I said, don't worry about anything. I said, lean on me. I didn't care about myself. I called all of my cousins that was close to Zay. I called my friends that were cool with Zay. And I told them, I'm the messenger of the family when it comes to stuff like this, especially when it's so close to me. Because I would always want other people to know, you need to know now. You don't need to wait. You don't need to be the last person to know. I'm calling everybody. So after that, I had to tell my cousins, don't come here and do nothing. I said, I've been praying. God literally charged me with keeping the peace. And somebody just killed my brother. God said, you need to stop any and all people that are coming here looking for somebody. You need to stop them. I told them, don't do nothing. Don't come down here and do nothing. I'm telling my little cousins that's about it in the streets, don't look for nobody. Don't do it. Then, time for the funeral. I told my boss, I'm not taking time off until this funeral. Because after that funeral, I'm going to need all of that bereavement time. Because I don't know what's going to happen to me. Because I didn't cry much. I cried for a total of 45 seconds over the course of 3 weeks. Or something like that, like 2.5 weeks. We get to the funeral and stuff. They ask him, I don't want to be asked. I'm going to be real, y'all. I didn't want to be asked any questions about what I want to do for my brother. I told Kendall, my sister, I said, whatever you want to do, we're going to do it. And if somebody got a problem with it, you tell him to talk to me. We not doing no bull crap. We not finna ruin this moment. We're not. And we'll get into the funeral. So, time for me to go up there. I'm comforting everybody, bro. I'm comforting everybody. Like my cousin, Deontay, him and his sister were there. And he was just like, I'm sorry, cuz. I'm hugging him. I'm like, I'm gonna be cool. Like, I'm almost crying, tearing up a little bit. My cousin Tim, you know what's crazy about this? My cousin Tim is like a big brother to me, Uriel, and Dante, him and his brother Demetrius. Just like how my dad, my Uncle Sherman, and our cousin Ricky, was like big brothers to them, and my cousin, and their cousin Jody. We literally we had a funeral for my cousin Demetrius 3 weeks before we had a funeral for Uriel. Uriel didn't go to Demetrius's funeral because Uriel doesn't do funerals. After my Uncle Joe and after my Uncle Doug, he stopped going to family funerals, period. Yeah, I knew he wasn't coming. I was like, don't even expect him to come. So going into that same room 3 weeks after we just buried him was surreal. I'm up there, I'm talking to everybody. I'm like, I'm up there keeping it together. Telling people we're not going to retaliate. We're going to leave this to the justice system and we're going to leave it to God. I said, I know that we are all angry. We're all sad right now. But this don't need to be about us because Uriel would not want us to get revenge on anybody. And I say that because me, Uriel, and Dante, we made a pact. If somebody kills us, we need to kill them. If one of us gets killed, the other two need to go kill them. That was our pact. We had that pact since elementary school. Yes, we used to watch a whole bunch of movies back in the day, but we meant that. We used to ride for each other hard. Man, I was like, I'm not going to do nothing. I was like, God told me not to, so I'm going to listen. I'm going to listen. Telling Dante, we can't do it. I was like, I know you want to. I want to, but God told me we can't do it. Because if we do it, we're going to throw our life away and Uriel is going to make fun of us forever. That funeral was good until certain stuff was being added that I didn't really know too much about. And this is why I don't like when certain family comes around for stuff that goes on with me. It's been like that for a long time. I was proven correct to myself. And I don't invite this. Like, I'll say hi and stuff when I'm around them at family gatherings, but I won't invite them to nothing that I have going on. I don't care what anybody says. There was a part, had all our cousins get up there and recite some words. This pisses me off, and I'm going to be real. I'm not really, I'm sorry, I don't care. I don't care. It was disorganized. That is a spit in the face to me. It's disorganized. Then I had an uncle go up there, make a speech, played a super inappropriate song that Uriel made that shouldn't be played at a funeral. That pissed me off. Pissed me off wholeheartedly. Those 2 times, I literally was just like, this ish is pissing me off. I'm looking at my sister, her face turned up, she sat, I said, yeah, we're going to leave them where they at. Thank God, I'll tell you the pluses that came out of it. I was able to get, I think there was 13 people that raised their hand to get a life to Christ when I was up there. Because I said, look, man, I said, Lord, if we going about it, we're going to go about it. Got up there, and I was like, if you want to forgive anybody right now, I said, it doesn't matter who it is. I said, y'all, we need to lock in. We need to get to that point where we can be around anybody that we do not like, and we need to forgive them. I said, if y'all believe in forgiveness, I said, whoever did the cereal, you need to forgive them too, whoever they are. I said, you need to forgive them. I said, it doesn't have to be right now, but one day you need to forgive them. You need to. And I was like, if anybody wanted to give their life to Christ right now, confess their sins, I was like, just raise your hand. We're going to pray and we're going to get this rolling. 13 people. I'm like, that's a lot. That's a lot of people. A lot of people that don't believe in God too. This ain't just Christians. It's people that don't believe in God. Get out that funeral. We start seeing everybody. Start talking to a lot of people. And I'm talking to Uriel's friends. I'm talking to our little cousins that's about their life. And they like, man, it's crazy that you normally this don't happen, but you really made me feel better. I wasn't up there to make nobody feel better. I'm going to be real. I was up there to do a duty to Uriel for the Lord, because Uriel wouldn't want nobody dying about him. He wouldn't. Not who he was at this time. Not the chill, laid back guy that Uriel was at this time. I don't think that I'll ever, this happened with Zay. I don't think that I'll ever be as close to somebody as I was with Zay ever again. And now I'm like, I really truly believe that this will never happen again. I would be close to somebody the way I was with Uriel, because they was the closest person I ever been to right after Uriel. So now it's like, I got a wife and a daughter. That's it. I have, my pastor, they don't necessarily count because they are family to me. But friends, there will never be anybody that I consider nobody a brother outside of Brent, and Robert. And that's it. To be real, I don't consider anybody else like a brother to me. I don't think that I ever will ever again. That trust that I had was broken before. And I just don't want to be hurt the same way again. I don't want to be hurt the same way as I was. I'd rather be normal sad when somebody dies instead of, my heart literally, it skips beats now when I think about my brother at times. And I can go a long time without being sad when it comes to my brother. But then I'll just be driving to work one day. I'm listening to music. I start freestyling, be it rapping or singing, and I immediately start crying. It immediately becomes a prayer. Lord, I need you. Lord, I need you. Lord, I need you right now. It's over with every time. How has life been the last 8 months, 9 months? It's been horrible without him. I'm going to be real. It's been horrible at times. I don't even think to call people even more so. I didn't really call people a lot before Uriel passed. We would talk every week. And what makes all this worse is I talked to him Monday and I was just like, I'm going to see you on Thursday. Come over and see Ellie. He was like, bet. And he gets taken away. Y'all. This is some cruel stuff. This is some cruel stuff for anybody to go through. It is horrible. Death is something crazy too, because it's death is not something humans were ever meant to understand. Ever. When Adam and Eve were in the garden, that was a part of eternity. They would have never died. But they disobeyed God, they sinned, and God didn't want them to be sinful forever. So he kicked them out of the Garden of Eden. That way, though we grow old, we do have time to ask for forgiveness. And that is literally why Satan always picks at us. Because He was born in eternity. He was never not going to be a sinner. He's never going to repent. But God gave us the ability to repent. We got it better than angels, bro. My brother died, and I can go on with my life and still mourn him and grieve him, but not completely break down because God is keeping me up. He gave me my daughter to fill the hole that Uriel put into me. He gave me my wife to uplift me, love me, and also guide me at times when I'm making stupid decisions. If you look at your life and look at the blessings that you got, know that's straight from God. The devil can be in my ear. You're never going to be good enough. You're going to work hard until you die. Having the ability to work at all is a blessing. There are people who cannot walk, who cannot move their bodies, and they cannot work. So somebody else has to take care of them. But I will complain about providing at times. The luxury of complaining is not often given. It's taken. And it's definitely taken for granted. I miss my brother so bad, it's not even funny. I miss Zay so bad, it's not even funny. But the thing I do know is if I didn't have Uriel, if I didn't have Zay in my life, the growth that I have right now wouldn't matter to me as much. Straight up. Because Uriel died, I got even closer to God. Ain't that crazy? I was already on track last year. I was like, man, this was a great year in Christ. I was like, I cannot wait till next year. I can't wait till 2025. I'm going to be even more on fire for God. And then I lose my brother in the first month. Lost my cousin in December. Lost my brother in January. Came back to work and told my boss, I don't think I can do this no more. I'm alluding that I want to quit, but I was like, no, I don't want to quit. That's not what I'm saying. Manipulation is a form of witchcraft. I was definitely a warlock that day. Even though I was sad, I was like, Lord, I'm sorry. And it took me a long time to get back to where I am right now. Dude, last week, I didn't care about my job, bro. I was like, man, I really need to lock in. I started talking to my wife. I'm telling her stuff about me, like, serious stuff. I'm like, dude, I'm hurting. But I really just, like, I'm so tired of doing all this work and not seeing nothing from it. I've been saying that for years, but I was like, it's crazy because I feel this way, but I'm still lucky to be able to do these things. And Uriel will be making fun of me with some of the complaining that I did this year. I don't even know if I'm doing a good job being a big brother to my siblings that are still here. Uriel was better than me with that. He's definitely a better, bigger brother. I literally left everything to him. And now I got to pick up the slack. Now that he's gone, I'm trying my best. I'm trying to call people more. I'm very private with my life. Like, I'm very private. Like, I could put my daughter on a YouTube video and I could blow up. One of my first videos that blew up is a video of my daughter. But I'm not going to do that. Because being a father, being a big brother is way more important to me. So, let's not use other people to get ahead in life. Like, I'm never, if this is the end of this video, I'm never going to make another video like this. Because this is not something, I'm not even monetized on YouTube, but I would never want to profit off of my brother's death. I would never want to do that. I'm not that type of sick person. Like, looking for validation, looking for sympathy because my brother died. That's not my vibe. That is wrong. That goes against what I believe. And it is horrible. It's a horrible thing to do. I've been talking for like an hour. So I guess we'll kind of wrap it up here. My family going through a lot right now. Like, the devil is moving. He's doing double time. And he is definitely attacking everybody. Nobody is safe. None of us are perfect. Nobody is safe. So all we can do is rely on God to help us through this time. Continue to lean on Jesus as our Lord and Savior. And come and unite. I got cousins that grew up Christian. And they're like, why has our family got this crazy beef over Christianity? I can tell you why. We've had 3 family members that passed away that meant the world to our family. My Uncle Enoch, my Auntie Mia, and Uriel. That's 3 strikes. If this family does not get it together, and by get it together, we need to come back to Christ, bruh. Straight up. When we lost our great-grandmother, that was the last, like, bruh. When she passed away, there was 187 of us in the family as total. That was the first gate being broken. Then you got these 3 that passed that meant a lot to everybody. Now it's like, if we get together, we drink, we smoke. You know, that's the only time it seems like they, you know, have fun. I mean, we've had fun sober. But the amount of fights that have happened over the years has just gotten worse. The pettiness that's been going on, all this crap, man. It's an evil world we live in. But that's it for me, y'all. I yapped long enough. If you've made it this far, be it friends or family or random people, Jesus loves you. He did die for your sins. He came down and died on Calvary's cross. And he is the way. Straight up. Read your Bibles. Buy a Bible. Get the Bible app. I think there's an app called Haven. I don't use it. I don't need it because I know where I can look for stuff in the Bible. But y'all need to just give it a chance. Just go look at it. Pray to God. God answers those that call for him, bruh. Those that are humble, those that are hurt and down and dirty, God wants you. Even when you're rich, even when you got all these things in the world that make you happy outside of money, God still needs you. You're not above God. This ain't a sermon, y'all. This is a testimony. Jesus died for us. God has given us comfort in times of need. My parents can say that even though they don't believe in it no more. My cousins can say it. Even my friends that can say it. Or even ex-friends can say it. That's one thing I know is a fact. And though I look like this, y'all, I'm very much learning to love life again. This has been my regular phase since I was 13. I'm not depressed or nothing anymore. God did fix that. And my anxiety attacks, he fixed that. I have not had a anxiety attack in 3.5 years. And God has helped me through my depressive phases this year because I didn't have them for 3.5 years before, but my brother died. So, yeah. I love y'all. That's it for me. Ma, if you're watching this, you probably are. I wasn't trying to attack anybody. I'm just giving my, You know, just letting people know I wasn't happy with certain stuff. And I am holding on to some things. I'm working on it. And we're going to go from there. Y'all, peace. God bless. I'll see y'all in the next videos.